British Columbia, Alberta, Quebec and Prince Edward Island issue invitations to apply to candidates through provincial immigration programs this week. Alberta and Quebec draws are recent publications of draws that occurred in December. Most Canadian provinces and territories operate their own provincial nominee programs. Through these programs, interested candidates may be invited to apply for provincial nomination. Receiving a provincial nomination can be advantageous for gaining permanent residence. Quebec's immigration programs are administered by the province and are distinct from Canada's immigration programs. Quebec is the only province that has control over all economic class immigrants. The provincial nominee program accounts for 105,000 PR admissions per year. It began in 1998, and the annual number of PNP admissions has since increased steadily. Both federal and provincial governments consider it an effective tool to promote economic development outside of urban centers. Provincial immigration results January 14th to January 20th, Alberta. The Alberta Advantage Immigration Program issued 129 invitations to apply for provincial nomination through the Alberta Express Entry stream on December 8th and has only published these results recently. Candidates required a minimum CRS score of 305. Additionally, the province announced this week that express entry candidates in the AIP will be invited, based on a combination of high-demand occupations and immediate family ties as selection factors, when completing draws from the federal express entry pool. There is no change to the eligibility criteria in any stream of the AIP. Quebec. Quebec invited 1047 skilled workers to apply for permanent selection on December 15th. Results were only published this week. The draw targeted candidates who had occupations with specific NOCs and candidates required job offers outside of the Montreal metropolitan community, and a minimum ARIMA expression of interest score of 571 points. The invitations were issued by the Ministère de l'Immigration, de la Francisation et de l'Intégration to immigration candidates applying under the Quebec Regular Skilled Worker Program. Those invited to apply for permanent selection by Quebec have a maximum of 60 days to submit their application and pay processing fees. Quebec aims to process complete applications within 6 months, starting on the date all the required information has been received. This includes all forms and documents. British Columbia. British Columbia invited more than 187 candidates to apply for provincial nomination on January 17th. The province invited 154 candidates in a general draw that included tech occupations. The invitations were issued to candidates in the skilled worker and international graduates categories and included express entry candidates and entry-level and semi-skilled candidates. Candidates from the skilled worker and international graduate stream required a minimum CERS score of 105. Entry-level and semi-skilled candidates required a score of 82. CERS acts much like the Express Entry Comprehensive Ranking System but is only used for British Columbia's PNP. The province also held rounds of invitations for candidates working in the following occupations: 18 early childhood educators and assistants with scores of at least 60 points. 15 healthcare workers from the skilled worker, international graduate, including express entry category, with scores of at least 60 points and Prince Edward Island. On January 19th, Prince Edward Island invited 216 candidates through the labor and express entry stream of the PEI-PNP. There were also 7 candidates invited through the business work permit entrepreneur with minimum point thresholds of 62. This was the first draw for the PEI-PNP in 2023. The province typically holds draws on a monthly basis. Express entry candidates who wish to be nominated by PEI must submit a separate expression of interest to the PEI-PNP.